Top 5 tomato diseases and how to beat them for bigger yields. The silent killers destroying your tomato profits. Here are the 5 destroyers and your victory strategies. Disease killer number 4. Fusarium wilt, the slow vesicular strangler. The 4th disease enemy, sharing similarities with bacterial wilt but caused by different pathogen with different biology, is Fusarium wilt, caused by the soil-borne fungus Fusarium oxyporium (FSP). Lycopasicae, a disease that, like bacterial wilt, attacks the vesicular system, blocking water transport, but unlike bacterial wilt, which kills plants suddenly in days, Fusarium wilt kills slowly over weeks, showing distinctive one-sided symptoms, where one side of the plant or even one branch wilts while the other side remains apparently healthy. This characteristic asystematic wilting is Fusarium's calling card, allowing you to distinguish it from bacterial wilt's symmetric whole plant wilting. Fusarium wilt is less explosive than bacterial wilt, but equally destructive over the long-term turn, reducing yields by 40 to 80% in susceptible varieties through a combination of plant death, stunting, and premature ripening of fruits before they reach marketable size. The financial impact accumulates differently than bacterial wilt. Instead of sudden catastrophic losses, Fusarium wilt creates slow erosion of profitability as 20% of plants die, 30% are severely stunted, producing 50% normal yields, and the remaining plants are stressed, producing smaller fruits and lower total harvest, resulting in the final yields of between 200 to 300 crates instead of the projected 600 to 700 crates, representing income losses of 3 to 4 million shillings per acre. Understanding Fusarium wilt's biology reveals both its vulnerabilities and the challenges of controlling it. The fungus survives in soil as resistant spores called chlamydospores that can persist for 10 to 15 years even in the absence of host plants, making Fusarium wilt a permanent problem once it infests a field. The disease is favored by warm soil temperatures between 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, explaining why Fusarium problems are worse in tropical regions and during hot seasons. The fungus enters root through wounds similar to bacterial wilt, but also penetrates directly through root tips and through feeding wounds created by nematodes. Once inside roots, Fusarium invades vesicular tissue and grows upwards through the stem, but unlike bacteria that multiply within vessels, Fusarium actually grows as thread-like hyper, extending through vessels. The fungus produces toxins and physically blocks vessels, causing wilting, but the blockage develops gradually over weeks rather than days. Early symptoms include yellowing and wilting of lower leaves, often on just one side of the plant, creating the distinctive asymmetric appearance. Vesicular discoloration is diagnostic. Cut a wilted stem lengthwise and you will see dark brown discoloration of the vesicular tissue in the distinctive pattern. Unlike bacterial wilt, where vesicular discoloration is less pronounced, the Fusarium wilt battle strategy centers on two absolutely critical interventions: resistant variety selection and soil pH management. Unlike bacterial wilt, where resistance is rare, Fusarium wilt resistance has been successfully bred into many commercial tomato varieties. Varieties rated as resistant, that is marked with F, F1, F2, or F3. Seed catalogs indicating resistance to different Fusarium races can be grown successfully in Fusarium-infected soils, producing normal yields when susceptible varieties die completely. This genetic resistance is so effective that it is essential, mandatory for profitable tomato production in Fusarium-prone areas. Spending slightly more for resistant seed, that is 5,000 to 8,000 shillings extra per acre, prevents losses of 3 to 4 million shillings from disease. However, the fungus exists in multiple races, genetic variants, and resistance effective against one race may fail against another race. So verify which races are present in your area and select varieties with matching resistance. If you unknowingly plant varieties resistant to race 1 in fields infested with race 2, you will still experience disease problems, teaching you the expensive lesson that resistance must match the local pathogen population. The second critical Fusarium management tool is soil pH manipulation. Fusarium wilt is dramatically more severe in acidic soils below the pH of 6.0 and is significantly suppressed with neutral to slightly alkaline soil of pH 6.5 to 7.5. This pH effect is so powerful that raising soil pH through lime application can reduce Fusarium wilt incidence by 50 to 70% even in susceptible varieties. Test your soil pH using inexpensive test kits or through soil testing laboratories. And if pH is below 6.5 in fields with Fusarium history, apply agricultural lime at rates of 1 to 3 tons per acre, depending on how much pH increase is needed. Your soil test report will recommend exact lime rate. Apply lime 3 to 4 months before planting, allowing time for it to react with soil and raise pH. The lime investment is 50,000 to 120,000 shillings per acre, but provides benefits for 3 to 5 years, making it one of the most cost-effective disease control investments available. Beyond resistance and pH management, implement the same soil solarization protocol described for bacterial wilt. This reduces but doesn't eliminate Fusarium because the fungus survives deep in soil profiles beyond solarization's reach. But it still reduces surface inoculum enough to lower disease pressure substantially. Implement crop rotation, avoiding tomatoes and other susceptible crops like eggplants, peppers, for at least 3 years in Fusarium-infested fields, though rotation is much less effective against Fusarium than bacterial wilt because Fusarium survives so long in soil. Use grafted plants where the above ground portion of the high-yielding susceptible variety is grafted onto the rootstock of highly resistant but probably lower yielding or lower quality variety. This technology combines the productivity of elite varieties with the disease-resistance or disease-resistance variety. Grafted plants cost significantly more, 15 to 40 shillings per plant, compared to 5 to 8 shillings for regular transplants. But in fusarium-infested fields, the yield difference easily justifies this investment, with the grafted plants producing between 500 to 600 crates, while ungrafted susceptible plants produces 200 crates. The additional cost of 20,000 to 50,000 shillings for grafted plants generates additional income of 3 to 4 million shillings, a spectacular return on investment. Troubleshooting fusarium wilt requires recognizing that if you are seeing severe disease despite planting varieties labeled as resistant, you either have a different fusarium race than the resistance was bred for. Your resistant variety is actually counterfeit seed, a common problem with unregulated seed suppliers. Or you are misdiagnosing a different disease as fusarium wilt. Conduct the diagnostic stem cut test, examining vesicular discoloration patterns to confirm your diagnosis. If diagnosis confirms fusarium, but resistant varieties still fail, test for different races at a plant disease diagnostic laboratory and select varieties with appropriate resistance. If fusarium incidence increases suddenly after years of good control, a new race may have appeared in your field requiring updated resistance varieties. Fusarium evolves continually, and resistances that worked for years can eventually be overcome by new pathogen races. If certain field sections consistently show worse fusarium problems, test soil pH in those areas because localized acidity can create disease hotspots. The ultimate fusarium truth is that this disease is essentially permanent once established, making resistant varieties your primary practical defense. Attempting to grow susceptible varieties in fusarium-infested soils is financial suicide that will bankrupt you. Subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell. We publish comprehensive agricultural guides, disease management videos, variety reviews, troubleshooting contents, advanced techniques, and farmers' success stories weekly. Contents potentially adding thousands of dollars to your annual farming income. Return regularly because agricultural science continually advances and evolves. New research, refined management techniques, innovative solutions emerge constantly, and improved storage technologies emerge constantly. Consistent learning separates continuously improving farmers from those stuck with outdated methods. Remember to like this video, comment with your story and commitments, share with farming networks, subscribe for weekly agricultural education, and turn on notifications. Your engagement transforms not just your farm, but entire agricultural communities worldwide. Together, we are building a global movement of prosperous, sustainable farmers, proving that with knowledge and commitment, agricultural prosperity is achievable for everyone. Welcome to your farming transformation. Let's make it extraordinary. Top 5 tomato disease and how to beat them for bigger yields. Disease killer number 5. Click on the link in the description below and watch this inspiring strategy. Thank you.